Hi, I'm Ray. Well, it's mid-May and I'm going to give you a bit of a look around the allotment in the middle of May. So it's Sunday, it's a bit of a cold morning out there, quite damp, which is quite nice for the ground, but it's looking a bit of a mess. This is my fortnightly visit and it's getting a bit out of hand now. It's growing quite crazy. I can see lots of jobs need doing. So I brought a few things from the greenhouse down, and today it's all out. Everything's going out that I've got ready, and I'll show you how it's going. So one of my first jobs was trying to sort out my solar panel watering system. The batteries seem to have run out and not charged. So I brought some new batteries down and hopefully give it a boost to start working again. So this is my first job. It's watering in the tunnel. It'd be far easier if it could do it itself. So we'll give that a go, see what it does. So we've got some onions and garlic and the rhubarb. And we've got a couple of board beans. So the runners have been in for about 2 weeks, but they've been heavily eaten. I've just put these nets beside just to keep the wind off. But they've been eating. So in this bed, we're planting out the shallots. We're making a straight line. We're making a space about 6 to 8 inches per hole. Just using a dibber, using a cane. Just making our holes all the way along in a straight line. And then we can add our shallots. So I'm going to do 2 rows. Some of these shallots are a bit floppy, got a bit wet, a bit too damp. So I'll find the best ones, separate them, and we can add on the good ones, see what we come up with at the end. So we'll get on and plant all these shallots. So we're back in the polytunnel and we brought down our tomatoes, and this is Modus, which is a plum tomato. It's been in the greenhouse, it's got a bit leggy, so we need to plant it out. So I'm planting it next to the arch, and I'm going to lay it in the pot. I'm going to kind of bend the stem so it's lying in the pot, so we can bury more of the stem. So all the stem's got roots, so we can bury it down and it can have a good root structure. So I'm heading it towards the arch so we can grow it up the cane, so that would be really good. So these are the ones we bought for 50p. We've grown them on in the greenhouse, and now it's time to get them all out. They're taking up a bit of space and we can move on. Add a label, and there we go, job's done. Giving it water. It's pretty hot in this tunnel, really hot. So the next job is planting these marigolds. I've got a random tomato here. I'm just going to move that in between so it can sit in between these tomatoes and grow on there. So these are shop bought marigolds, and these are going to go next to my tomatoes. I've just dug a small hole. I'm going to give it a bit of a water, then we can put our seedlings directly into the hole. I've split these apart. There's 2 seedlings per cell. I chose these trays because they had more than 1 flower in, so it's always good to check. So we've got 2 flowers for the price of 1, which is always a bonus. Marigolds are a good neighbour for tomatoes, and they smell for pests. They don't like the smell of the marigolds, so that deters the pests from our tomatoes. So it's a good companion plant. So I'm getting all these in now, and the rest are going to go into the allotment plot. To add a bit of colour around the side. Another 2. Oh. So here we go, after a few hours work. We've got some cabbages along the back here. We've got our onions that are self-grown, some lettuces on the back row, carrots, 2 lots of carrots, 2 lots of leeks, and then our shallots, broad beans, shallots, onions and garlic, and then the back is the pond. It's looking pretty good. So as soon as we de-weed this, it's all back again. Now I'm not too worried. I might just cover this over just for a bit, unless we get round to doing it over the next week or so. But this is the main priority, is the arch. We need to put our tomatoes in. Tomatoes are going in the top. We've got runner beans, the second section, cucumbers, the third section, and then pumpkins, which we've planted a couple of seeds down there, and we've got our pumpkin plants at the allotment, and they're going to hopefully all grow up and around this frame, which will make it look really good. So we've got majority of our tomatoes with the marigolds. We've got some more tomato plants in the greenhouse growing on, so I don't know where they're going to go. Maybe in the back row. But that's pretty good. We've got some leeks in the polytunnel. They're looking very dry. And some peas. And the runner beans. And this runner beans decided to twist itself up the bit of tie instead of the wigwam. Well, they're looking really good. Flower garden, the sweet williams are really growing crazy. We've got poppies growing, the rose that we planted for my father, and then these are random sweet peas growing. They need to be tied up because they're just growing randomly at the moment. So I'm keeping them on this wigwam. There we go. So that's my allotment for the middle of May. Let me know what jobs you've been doing this weekend.